Hello, everyone. So today I will be reading the last chapter of Shallow Seeds from my crime anthology, Life's Dark Stories. That is chapter 11. So let's get down to it. As soon as I can find my place. Chapter 11. Roger slipped the key in the lock and cautiously pushed it open. He took a moment to scan the room before fully entering the apartment. You can never tell when someone might come after you, and he wanted to be prepared. As soon as he was satisfied there was no ambush, he pulled his pistol from his waistband and he put it on the coffee table in the living room. It had been 3 weeks since Calvin escaped from his grasp, and Roger figured he wouldn't come back to the apartment, so there was no point in hiding his weapons anymore. If he was honest with himself, he regretted taking the job. He loved Calvin as much as Calvin loved him, but what was he supposed to do? Then when he saw the lines of white powder on the table when he came home, he put two and two together and realized Calvin had planned to check himself out, and to think, had he waited, the situation would have fixed itself anyway. Roger went to the kitchen and fixed himself a bowl of cereal and plopped down on the couch when he was finished. He turned on the TV and started to flip through the channels. Since Simon's arrest and his subsequent cooperation, which led to more arrests, Roger's list of potential clients had diminished, so he found himself with a lot more free time as of late. The doorbell rang and Roger sighed with annoyance at being interrupted. He placed the bowl of cereal down next to the gun on the coffee table and made his way to the front door. As he looked through the peephole, he gasped at the sight of Calvin standing on the other side. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his face white with shock. Calvin shrugged his shoulders. "I live here," he replied, "or at least I used to. Just came back to get a few things." Roger blinked, momentarily stunned into confusion. He was on guard, but he relaxed when Calvin held his arms up as if in surrender. So he recovered and stepped aside, allowing Calvin in. He said nothing as the man he tried to kill grabbed a box from the closet and proceeded to deposit some items into it. Calvin noticed the gun on the table, but he only gave it the briefest of glances as he continued gathering his possessions. The last thing he grabbed was a phone charger cord that was plugged into the outlet by the TV. Only then did he face Roger, who was leaning on the kitchen counter watching him again. "I could kill you right here," Roger informed him, glancing toward the gun, "and claim that you tried to attack me." "You could," Calvin sneered, "but there's no point anymore. Grosswell is going to need every dime he has to fight his case. And with word out that he's cooperating, you can't afford to talk to him anymore. You're a professional, after all." Roger nodded agreeably, despite the obvious sarcasm. "You want a drink?" Calvin waved his hand dismissively. "I'm good. Just got sober." Roger smiled. "Glad to hear it. Thanks, by the way, for not mentioning my name. I figured you had something to do with Simon's recent troubles. The only question is, why not name me? You don't owe me anything." "As a matter of fact, I do. You showed me that even the good things in my life were either not true or wouldn't last with the choices I've been making. And I didn't want revenge. I just want to be done with everything, to start over. I'm not mad at you, Roger. I'm just finished with you." Those last words hurt Roger more than he wanted to admit. His feelings for Calvin were still there, but he knew he'd crossed the line. "Okay, so what will you do now?" Calvin walked toward the door with his box of belongings. "I'll figure something out." He turned to Roger one last time with a tear in his eye. "Take care of yourself." Roger merely nodded again, but when Calvin closed the door behind him, Roger wept quietly. Calvin backed the car into the driveway of the house. He learned that it helped save time, even just a few minutes, but those minutes added up, and he wanted to get as many orders as he could. He got out of the car and went to the trunk. Grabbing a latch, he opened it and grabbed 5 grocery bags in each hand at a time. Then he walked up the porch and placed them carefully in front of the door. On his second trip, the door opened, and a middle-aged woman, the one who ordered the groceries, thanked him profusely and started carrying the bags inside. He smiled at how friendly she was and finished getting her groceries on the third trip. When he was finished, she again thanked him and sent him a $10 tip through the app. It was a very generous tip, and though he didn't always get such a tip, he was satisfied at another job well done. He wished her a pleasant rest of the day and walked back to the car. That made 5 trips on that day alone, with a decent $150 made so far. Calvin thought about calling it quits for the day and resting, but he figured if he could get to $200 before the day was out, he'd have enough money to pay all his bills for the month, and all the money he made during the rest of the week was play money. He found that he truly enjoyed this kind of work, and when he got pulled over on occasion, he didn't worry about the police finding any drugs in the car, because he never had any drugs in the car anymore. This concludes my short story, Shallow Seeds, from my anthology, Life's Dark Corners. If you'd like to, you can pick up a copy on Amazon. They're available on paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. You can always hit me up personally through my website, jamesmichaelsbooks.com. My personal email is on there if you would like a signed copy. Also, you can sign up to my email subscription form at jamesmichaelsbooks.com in order to get updates on book promotions, new books coming out, events, content, things of that nature. Bye.